What is up, investors, and welcome back to the Everything Crypto Show. I am your host, Everything Crypto, here to bring you the latest and most important news moving the crypto markets. Now, as always, please remember that nothing on this channel is financial advice. These videos are for viewer education and entertainment purposes only, so please invest responsibly, as I want this community to thrive in the long run, and I love and appreciate you all. And on that note, it is time to get into today's video, as we have a lot of stuff to break down, including the CPI data coming out of the States, Canada's response to the CPI data, a new move to earn crypto project that no one's really talking about to my knowledge, as well as some news coming out of the Digital Pound Foundation and new records for the Cronos chain. So tons of stuff to get through. We do not have any time to waste. So without further ado, it is time to sit back, relax, grab that morning cup of joe, and enjoy the show. Now, usually we do start off by taking a look at the Bitcoin and Ethereum charts, but I think this time around it's more important to take a look at the CPI data and then look at what happened to these prices as a result of the CPI data, which came in at a shocking 9.1%. Now, honestly, I've been saying for a long time that these numbers are absolute BS. Like, they don't really mean anything, and the government can actually manipulate them to make them higher or lower if they so please. And it was actually admitted today by President Biden, saying that inflation data is clearly out of date. And the reason being is that gas prices here have been tanking for like well over the past month and a half. So I did actually expect us to get a lighter reading today. However, it would appear that the lower gas prices were definitely not included in this CPI data, which did bring us to this shocking number of 9.1%. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, the market really just shrugged this off like it was absolutely nothing. And what this seems like to me is, A, the market might start becoming desensitized to these inflation numbers. They might have started to accept that we are going to be in an inflationary environment for a little bit longer. And you guys need to remember that the market is always forward thinking. So if you are expecting inflation to kind of curb and start going downwards in 2 to 3 months, the market will move ahead of this. And that is what I believe is happening here. But yeah, I mean, clearly these numbers are out of date, because if you actually specifically click on energy here, you're going to see that it came up from 34.6% to 41.6%, and that's just not possible given the decline in gas prices over this past month. So definitely the numbers are a little bit skewed here. However, in response to this concerning number that came out of the US, the Bank of Canada did go ahead and drop us with a massive 100 basis point hike. So our interest rates are now at 2.5%, the highest level since 2008, and this is the first time the central bank has hiked its benchmark rate by a full percentage point since 1998. Now, the Bank of Canada says that with the economy clearly in excess demand, inflation high and broadening, and more business and consumers expecting high inflation to persist for longer, the governing council decided to front load the path to higher interest rates by raising the policy rate by 100 points today. And the central bank continued to warn on Wednesday of more hikes to come, saying that interest rates will need to rise further, and the pace of increases will be guided by the bank's ongoing assessment of the economy and inflation. So to be honest, I actually do believe that the US will eventually implement a 100 basis point hike, as well as the US inflation is actually coming in much higher, well, not much higher, but slightly higher than Canadian inflation, which did actually hit 7.7% back in May, while we actually had the US inflation in May coming in here at 8.6%. So I do also see a 100 basis point hike coming for the States eventually. And just remember that, I mean, based on this inflation data, the markets once again did seem to shrug it off for the most part, and Bitcoin actually went all the way down to 18K and then just is absolutely ripping right now all the way back up above $20,000. So 20,000 does appear to be like the magnet price for Bitcoin right now, as that was the 2018 all-time high. So obviously you should expect this to act as a very strong level of support as well as resistance. And right now, over the past couple of days, I do really believe it has been acting as more of a resistance, as Bitcoin has been maintaining that $19,000 price tag, but really kind of unable to close a candle above 20,000. So we are effectively in uncharted territory here, guys. We are below our 2018. I mean, right now we're above the 2018 all-time high, but just barely. But we are well below that 200-week moving average, which I continue to call out, because as you'll notice, if you zoom out the chart here, Bitcoin has pretty much never traded below the 200-week moving average. It has always acted as a very strong level of support. We did actually wick below it during COVID here, but we did not even close a candle below it. It was just a nice quick wick and then a rip. So we are pretty much in uncharted territory. We spent about 3 weeks now below that 200-week moving average. And taking a look at Ethereum, which is not faring any better. In fact, it does look a little bit uglier, to be honest, as we are well below that all-time high of 1400. We are currently sitting at 1111. Oh, make a wish. Oh, no, I'm kidding. We're at 1105. But yeah, we are also below that 200-week moving average at 1175 and well below $1,400 there. And this is a result of the bear market as we see a weakening ETH to Bitcoin valuation. We always talk about this, and if you have been with the channel for a while, this should not come as a surprise to you, as Bitcoin does outperform alts in a bear market, and that is reflected by this absolute landslide on the ETH to Bitcoin valuation that did actually begin in like early to mid-May. And as this bear market does continue, I would expect ETH to Bitcoin valuation to go ahead and continue this trend line that I did draw about a month ago. And so far, it pretty much has been playing out the way we have expected. And with the ETH to Bitcoin valuation dropping, that does also mean I expect the Bitcoin dominance to go up. You can see here that there is a massive level of resistance at that 47.61% dominance. We came back down to retest the 50-week moving average, and now we are on our way back to the upside, in my opinion. And once again, this is just the function of the bear market to, first of all, cleanse the weak hands and transfer this Bitcoin from the impatient to the patient, but also to really thin the herd of a lot of those alts and projects that will not make it into the next run as people flock to safety. And in the crypto market, that is Bitcoin. Now, even though this inflation data was actually pretty well received, we are starting to see signs that the market is not so scared of inflation anymore. We still have an incredibly volatile month coming up. That is because we have the FOMC meeting coming up from the 26th to 27th of July, and then on the 28th it is the US Q2 GDP report. And I have been saying for a while, I do definitely believe this is the day that the US will declare an official recession. I just don't see any way that Q2 GDP numbers could have came out positive, unless they like to manipulate those numbers just as much as the inflation numbers. But I just see no way that the economy saw any positive GDP growth over the past couple of months, and therefore that would technically put the US in a technical recession. Now, the market does seem to be getting a little bit more used to inflation and a little more comfortable with it. However, we could still see a freakout moment if a technical recession is announced, or it could be seen as a relief as demand destruction ensues and inflation comes down. So honestly, who knows, but I am saving some cash for this day just to be ready in case we do see a mass freakout in the markets. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, the thing that I am most concerned about here is earnings season commencing from late July to mid-August. We got Netflix, Tesla, Google and Microsoft, Meta, and Apple all reporting mid to late June, and then Amazon in early August. And honestly, you guys might wonder what this has to do with crypto at all, and that is just that Bitcoin does tend to trade with these tech stocks right here. So if the NASDAQ is dipping 3%, Bitcoin's probably down like 5 to 6%, and I just expect majority of these earnings to be disappointing. I think Netflix and Tesla are both going to disappoint. I know Microsoft already guided down, as well as Meta. Amazon is getting absolutely ripped by inflation. Apple as well. The only one on this entire list here that I think might actually surprise us is Google. And honestly, Apple, they usually do have pretty solid quarters, but point being that we will see a lot of volatility based on these earnings reports, and that is also something I would be aware of. Now, we saw the Disney Accelerator program here, and they announced 6 participants, and the one that I really want to focus on here is Polygon. We literally were just talking about Polygon yesterday, about the moves they are making in the crypto space, and now they pretty much are, synonymous with Ethereum as the most developed L2. They have been building like absolutely crazy throughout this bear market, and Disney definitely recognizes that, as they are actually tapping into the Polygon Layer 2 solution for their NFT. So huge recognition there for Polygon from a Fortune 500 company, and I would actually expect this to continue moving forward as Polygon does position itself as the dominant Ethereum L2. Now we're going to talk about the Digital Pound Foundation here a little bit. This is something I have been covering on the channel for a while. The Digital Pound Foundation has finally introduced the Pound token. I don't like that name at all, but whatever. It is the first fully backed GBP stablecoin regulated in the British Isles. So this is, in fact, the first British regulated stablecoin which is fully backed one-to-one by pound sterling, known by the ticker GBPD, allowing direct GBP access to digital asset markets and facilitating frictionless real-time settlements. And why have we talked about the Digital Pound Foundation on this channel before? Well, we're going to go to their Twitter page, and you're going to figure it out pretty quick. So we have covered Digital Pound Foundation on this channel before. As you can see, just take a look at their partners here, which does include the likes of Avalanche as well as Quant and Ripple. Now, the Quant and Ripple are the two ones that I am concerned with the most here, as this is the space that they are really fighting for. And I do believe, or rather I have a theory, that the XRP ledger will actually be the technology that their future CBDC runs on, which is looking like it's going to be this Pound token. And then I believe that Quant will actually be used, the overledger, for the interoperability aspect of the CBDC to allow that you can actually make like transfers between chains with the power of Quant. So very interesting stuff indeed, and I will be keeping a close eye on the Digital Pound Foundation as we have done previously. In fact, I always keep visiting their Twitter page, but I don't follow them, so now I follow them. Okay, so moving on here, we're going to talk about SWEATCOIN a little bit. We're going to talk about this real quick because I feel like nobody's really been talking about this, and I talked about this project a couple of months ago. Basically, the Sweat Wallet app will give millions of people access to crypto. This is your portal to Web3, the easiest way to walk into crypto, and that is absolutely a pun because basically this is an app where you are awarded with crypto for moving, and I believe it's something like every 1,000 steps you earn 1 sweat, and what you're going to be able to do in a couple of months is actually stake this sweat as it is an ERC20 token, and you will also be able to actually use it to exchange for other cryptos. Now, this is a project I have been accumulating just simply by moving every single day, and here you can see there also have some new projections to increase the minting difficulty curve even more, which means that early adopters are going to have an easier time getting sweat than later adopters. So right now, 1K steps equals 1 sweat, as I mentioned. After 1 year, 1K steps is only going to get you 22% of a sweat coin. After 2 years, it'll only get you 11% of a sweat coin. 5 years, 4%, and 10 years, 1%. So basically, it will be increasingly more difficult to gain your sweat coin as time goes on. So if you do want to get in on this move to earn project nice and early, you can use my link in the description down below. Now, if you guys follow myself or Cronos Chain on Twitter, you might be aware of the Cronos Contributor Program, which basically has the Cronos team send out a task, and the task here for number 1 was to submit a Twitter thread, written article, or YouTube/TikTok video about 3 dApps within the Cronos ecosystem that you are a fan of and why. So basically, I was selected as the very first, one of the very first winners of task number 1 here. I technically was the second winner that was selected from YouTube, and this is the video. It was about 4 Cronos Chain projects. I threw a bonus one in there just for some brownie points, and maybe it worked, as dApp number 1 was VVS, dApp number 2 was MMF, then we also talked about Argo Finance here, and then we wrapped it up talking about Ibisu's Bay. So I just wanted to say that I am incredibly humbled and grateful to have won this contest. Thank you to the Cronos Chain, and also thank you to everyone that just watched the video, commented, and supported, and really helped me get this video, help it get the attention of the Cronos Chain. So once again, incredibly grateful, and thank you, Cronos Chain. Thank you, the community. I know I say it all the time, but I truly do love and appreciate you all. And now it's not just about me, okay, because the Cronos Chain here has also had something very exciting happen today, as we have exceeded 50 million transactions on the Cronos Chain. Guys, just take a look at this. The Cronos Chain was just launched in November of 2021 at 299.1 mil, and we are effectively 4x from that level right now, sitting at 1.2 billion, just underneath that, with an all-time high at 4 billion in TVL. The Cronos Chain is so young. It is still growing at a rapid pace, and we talk about it all the time, how absolutely insane it is that this project has not even been out for a year, and it is already in the top 10 of total value locked across all blockchains. Not to mention, if we actually take a look at the EVM blockchains, Cronos takes 5th place, and it is not even a year old. So very, very impressive. We have just hit this huge milestone of 50 million transactions, and I cannot wait to see where this goes next. So someday this will hit 100 million transactions. We still need to hit the 1 million unique wallet addresses milestone, and those are definitely things to look forward to in the future. Now, a quick update here on the Ripple versus SEC case, where the judge actually denied the SEC's attorney-client privilege claims in the Ripple case, calling out the SEC for their hypocrisy. So you can see there that the SEC's motion was denied, And the question is made unnecessarily complicated by the SEC's litigation tactics. The SEC has distanced itself from the speech to avoid discovery and sought to preclude Hinman's deposition on the grounds that whatever he said in the speech had nothing to do with the SEC's position. So these Hinman emails are basically where he does prove that he actually has a monetary stake in Ethereum before he announced that it is not going to be deemed a security. So the hypocrisy in arguing to the court on the one hand that the speech is not relevant to the market's understanding of how or whether the SEC will regulate cryptocurrency, and on the other hand that Hinman sought and obtained legal advice from SEC counsel in drafting his speech, suggests that the SEC is adopting its litigation positions to further its desired goal and not out of a faithful allegiance to the law. So the judge here is pretty much just calling out the SEC for just trying to hide stuff constantly, and they're not doing this in the interest of the law. They're doing this in their own interest, okay? So we do not want the SEC to win this case, and I do believe that, you know, based on how this has been going so far, it looks very, very favorable for Ripple, and that is incredibly important here as a legal expert reveals why XRP is the most important altcoin in the crypto space, and it comes down to one very basic thing, okay? This lawsuit is not only against XRP, this could also spell doom for other altcoins, okay? If XRP is being deemed a security, then pretty much no other altcoin is off the table. Any altcoin could be next on this list, okay? And that's what we've been saying from the beginning here, is that people who don't like XRP, which I don't understand people who bash other cryptos anyways, or just like go out of their way to hate on other projects, but there are so many XRP bashers out there who say that they hope XRP is deemed a security, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? If that happens, your favorite altcoins are probably not safe either. So we need Ripple to win this lawsuit, not just for XRP, but for all altcoins, honestly. And I have been saying from the beginning, I am a firm believer that Ripple will win this lawsuit, that XRP will be massively adopted, and I have full faith in the team behind Ripple to bring the fight to the SEC. So with that, that's pretty much all we have for today's crypto market update. Once again, I hope you guys did enjoy the content, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out for now.